Hey everyone, Terry over here with Guitarjitsu. I believe this is going to be lesson 4, and this is going to be a big lesson. It's going to really do some things for you. If you learn just apply yourself just a little bit, you're going to get a huge reward for your effort. What I'm going to teach today is, and I want to say first of all that if you haven't done the lessons in order, go back now and do them, okay? Because what I'm about to teach you, you get a lot from, but if you've been doing the lessons, you'll get a whole lot from. So in the last lesson, we did the low E notes, all the whole notes on the fretboard. And, you know, it's interesting, and probably everyone knew that already. But now I'm going to teach a sequence index based for now off of that low E string. That's going to basically give you every note on the guitar. It's very easy. I call this the Bead Index. Bead as in a bead on a dress. If I can get where you can see it. I'm so tight in here in this truck. Let's see. Okay. See? B-E-A-D-G-C-F. Bead is easy to remember. GCF, you can remember it as greatest common factor, like in math class, right? GCF. This is all you really need to remember in order to combine that with the low E notes, and you've got the whole fretboard. Now, there's one rule to using the Bead GCF index, the Bead Index, and that's it repeats. So, like the B would be on the low E string, perhaps, and then you would have the A string would be where the E is, and then the third string would be where the A is. See, it goes up one string after the other, and it goes straight up over the top of each other. Except when you reach the end at F, it starts back over with B. But when it gets to the F, you're going to take a half a step forward. A little arrow means half step, and then start back over with B. See? Always take a half step forward and start back over with B. Alright? And of course, anytime you do anything on the guitar, you're going to have to allow for the tuning of the B string and move everything up a half a step. But I will show you that in just a second. Okay, I'm going to do my best to try to make this clear. This is the guitar, a section of fretboard represented. This is the low E, and this is the high E, and this is where the tuning keys and stuff would be. Okay, so we're going to use this index over here, B-E-A-D-G-C-F, half step up, to populate the fretboard with the notes, with whole tones. Okay, this will be very easy once you get the hang of it. It's so simple, so easy, so fast. But so we know our low E notes, right? We know that it's open E. What's the first fretted note on the E string? What did we say last class? It was an F, wasn't it? Okay, there's your F. So let's see where the F is. Well, what comes after F? It comes the half step up. So let's take a half step up, and we start over with the B. So half step up, there's our B, and my whiteboard slipped. So, sorry about that. There's our B, and then E, and then A. Now the B string is tuned differently, so we also take a half a step up. We put our D there, and then G right there. Now the top E string is a duplicate of the low E string, so we carry the note down to the bottom. Remember what our third fret note was when we learned last lesson? It was a G note. Well, there's a G note. So what comes after G over here? It's a C. And then an F. And then we have the half step up again. And we start back over with B. And then we have another half step because there's the B string again. So now the E is going to go a half a step up. See how this works? And then A, carry the A back down to the bottom because it's a duplicate. and you have the low note on the A string. Let's follow it up. Start with A now and go A, D, G, C. And that's as far as we're going to go right now. Now we've just found all the notes on the guitar from the 1st fret to the 5th fret with this simple pattern for moving up a half step after the end of the pattern and accounting for the B string adjustment. Now you could add in your sharps and flats here if you wanted to. You know, like this would be a G sharp, F sharp, F sharp, D sharp, G sharp. You can add those notes in, but you don't have to, because you know, if you know the whole tones, you know what the middle, the in-between tones are. So I hope that you kind of see how that works. I'm going to, you might want to write this down, B-E-A-D, G-C-F, and a little arrow showing, reminding you to go up, because I'm going to take it off the board now. It's really easy to remember, and I'm going to write out a whole fretboard, and I'm going to diagram the whole thing, okay? And I'm going to explain what I'm doing as I go. Okay, what I've done here is I've wrote out as neatly as I could a very large fretboard diagram. Stay there. Darn it. Okay. And I'm going to populate it with notes all the way to the 12th fret. Okay, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So we start off with F, which is the first note on our low E. So I'm thinking if I should write the notes of the low E down and then build it off of it. But nah, okay. The first note on the 1st fret, this is the low E string again, is F. And then we move up a half a step for B, E, A, half a step for the B string, the tuning, D, and then G, G, because you carry it back down because it's duplicate, C, F, move up a half step for the B, like I said, and another half step because there's the B string and the tuning again. So there's E, and here's A, and carry it down here. This is the 5th fret, A, and then D, G, C, and now the F is going to be moved up a half step for the B string, F, and then up another half step because, you know, from F you go half step up and you start the process over the bead over with B and carry the B down here, low 6th string, and you go E, A, D, and then half a step up for the tuning of the B string, and we have G, and then C, carry the C down here to the low 6th, C, and then you have F, then a half a step up for B, and then E, half a step up for A, and then D, carry the D down here. This is your 10th fret, G, and then C, and then F, and then, now this is where it's a little different because you've got the F and you got the rule for moving a half a step up, and so you move a half a step up for the rule, but you got to move up another half step because of the tuning of the B string, and so your B is going to be a whole step up. See, you move up a half step for the F, for the rule, to go back to B, and then another half step for the tuning of the B string, and that puts you back on B, and then it goes E, and you carry your E down to the bottom, and then A, D, G, E, A, D, G, B, E, which is the same as your open notes here, because that's the 12th fret and it's a duplicate. So I've just very easily and quickly and kind of awkwardly, I may add, populated the entire fretboard with notes. So how would you use that? Well, you start the bead index anywhere within the index. Here we started it with an F. Here we can start it with a G. Here we start it with an A. Here we start it with a B. Here we start it with a C. We start it with a D. We can start it with an E. So one way, and there's other ways you can use this, big time. And I'm going to share that with you next lesson. Some more of it next lesson. But the way you can use that now is if you're trying to find, say, a G chord, and you around the 7th fret, well, then you would just do your B, E, A, D, G. There's your G. You can make your G chord here because of the second lesson, remember, that you did with me. It's the major minor chords. You can make you a major minor G chord out of that G right there. Or, here's the cool part, once you found your note, you could incorporate the root scale, which was the first lesson. And you could do your root scale and find your other G here. Or your other G here. You can move up the root scale. Alright? Now, you don't have to worry about where you started with the bead index. You don't have to worry about that. As long as you know the note that you're on, as long as you know the root, where the root note is that you want to, the root scale you're following, it's your place value. It holds your place. So you could follow this up to G, and then take this up, take it down here to this one and make your chord. And then when you want to find, let's say you want to find a D, then you could just do your G, C, F, B, E, E, A, and you'd find your A that way, just by using that, by using your bead index. So you don't have to remember how you got someplace. As long as you know the note you're on, it'll hold your place. Whether you're doing chords, scales, arpeggios, modes, as long as you know the note that you're on, it doesn't matter how you got a certain place. So I hope that this is clear. B, E, A, D, G, C, F, half a step up. B, E, A, D, G, C, F, half a step up. B, E, A, D, G, G, C, F, half a step. B, E, A, D, G, C, F, half a step up. B. It's a pattern, and pretty soon you'll just know it. You'll know the notes around this area. You'll learn the notes around that area because you're playing music or whatever, and you'll just kind of learn, eventually kind of get a feel for the whole fretboard. I hope you see how revolutionary this is now, okay? You see how just ridiculously revolutionary this is. And you incorporate this with the root scale and be able to build your chords off of any of those roots, major, minor. I hope you see, starting to really understand now how obsolete the cage system is, how backwards it is. After the next lesson, you will be like, okay, yeah, I'm never doing the cage system again. It has no value whatsoever. I mean, you may like the cage system. I like the cage system, but that's before I developed and discovered these things and made Guitarjitsu. Now I used to love cage system. Now I love Guitarjitsu because it's worked so much better. It's so much easier to find all these things to improvise with. Still takes practice, but it makes knowing your whole fretboard attainable, right? Makes it attainable. Now, the way you practice this is I want you to actually get a notebook, not in your journal. I want you to write this down in your journal, okay? And you might want to Google Fretboard Diagram and look it up and write this down off of that Google, just in case I made an error here somewhere, okay? But write it down in your journal and then get a notebook, and I want you to write a grid out like this in the notebook and try to follow the pattern and populate the whole fretboard and check it against what you got in your journal, or check it against your phone, check it against Google to make sure that it's accurate. Do that 4 or 5 times. Do it to where it's easy to do. This is very easy to do. If you want to look like you're already going to look like a guitar god that you can do this, but if you really want to look impressive, as you're filling these notes in, add in the sharps too. Add in the sharps to it as well. So all the spots are filled in, and That way no one can see the pattern that you're using to do it. They'll never figure out the B, E, A, D, G, C, F if you're adding in the sharps too. And they'll think, oh my God, how did you ever remember all that? You're incredible. So, but after you get it where you can do it accurately a bunch of times, you get comfortable with it, then get your guitar and name the notes up each fret. Okay? And then have a loop pedal or record yourself playing like an A minor chord, and then just start here and find an A note and make an A minor chord out of it, and start on this fret and find an A note and make an A minor chord. Do each whole note of the low E and then find an A minor chord or any chord you choose from there. And that's the functionality of what I'm showing you right now, is you can find chords. And later when I teach scales, you'll be able to find where to start scales at and all kinds of things. Lots of concepts I've still to share with you. But this is a good one to learn. The BEAD-GCF is a big, big deal. And as you see, now you know your whole fretboard. Now this goes up to 12th fret. Everything over the 12th fret I will cover in a later lesson. Okay? Before anyone even asks me, as far as the rest of it, I will show you. I will show you how that works, okay? So, please like, subscribe, share, hit the little bell, or whatever it is. Hit the bell, and get the notifications. And share this with your friends, put this on your social media. Help me grow this channel and get this system out there, because it's a shame. The systems that's out there that people have, it's fine, nothing against them, but it's just not as good as this one. And it's a shame for this to exist and players not have that option. So let's get it out there, let's get it seen, and give me a hand with the channel. Alright guys, thank you so much. Good luck with this. Got any questions on any of this stuff, ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Anyway, Terry Arbor signing out. See you in the next lesson. It's going to be awesome.